Welcome back. You're watching live from Paris on France 24. It's time for Media Watch with James Creedon, who's here with us now.
Laura.
Hi there, James. Good to see you. Now, Nicolas Sarkozy does not like journalists. That's the claim being made in the French press today.
This is it. I mean, it's 100 days to the presidential election, so he could do without these sort of moments where he gets a little bit angry with a journalist. Now, it happened last night in Madrid.
Very testy, wasn't it?
Very testy. And I think we'll take a look at it first, and then we'll comment on what actually happened.
You probably haven't received the latest information. So please ask me another question. Your information is not up to date. I don't understand your question. I'm sorry. Could you please ask me questions that I can understand, and then I will answer your questions.
Oh, I'm so glad that wasn't me asking that question.
He doesn't like being grilled on the AAA rating. And so
that sort of rictus grin.
Exactly, yeah. So the thing is, the journalist asked a perfectly intelligible question about the AAA rating.
Right.
Sarkozy's, I suppose what he was trying to get at is only one of the three big rating agencies has downgraded France. The latest information to come out, this journalist wasn't asking about that, etc., etc. He was trying to put the journalist in his place, essentially. And it was more the tone of voice that he adopted than what he was saying that the press picked up on. Let's take a look on the computer here, because what we can see is that this sort of went viral in the French media. And what happened was people started going back over old incidents with journalists going back through the years. There was that incident in 2009 when a journalist asked him about the Karachi scandal. That's a kickback scandal. Right. Sarkozy got extremely irritated and put that journalist in his place. Another incident last year with Claire Chazal, where she asked about the eviction of members of the Roma community. I think we have that video here on YouTube. Oui ou non, Claire Chazal. He really put her in her place, saying, "Is it illegal, Claire Chazal? Yes or no? Is it? I didn't hear you, Claire Chazal."
Oh,
and that video
he was asking the
went
questions.
viral online. Now, for English speakers, there's a little clip that we can show you now. This was a 60 minutes interview, so let's take a look at these pictures. This was not long after Nicolas Sarkozy was elected president of France, and the journalist in question started asking him questions about his marriage, which at the time was not going very well. Let's take a listen in to what was being said.
If I had something to say about Cecilia, I would certainly not do so here.
But there's a great mystery. Everybody's asking. Even your press secretary was asked at the briefing today. No comment?
He was quite right to make no comment, and no comment. Thank you.
Sarkozy
and
decided.
Out comes the earpiece, and off he goes. Oh. Now he was actually more irritated.
Quite polite there, though.
Apparently, he was quite polite, and some would say that he was perhaps justified because she was asking very probing questions about his private life, which in France is not really the way things are done. So that's not perhaps the best example of him getting unjustifiably irritated with a journalist, because maybe he was a little bit justified there with very probing questions about a very sensitive issue.
You've been in France too long, James.
Maybe I have.
Of course, we can ask about
maybe
their wives.
I have. So there you go. Now, just to come back to the incident last night. The Spanish press has picked up on this, and if this website here, Arrêt sur Image,
Méchant.
they have pointed out that the Spanish press is quite shocked at how cruel he was with the French journalist, because they point out in El País that just moments later, a Spanish journalist asked the same question about the consequences of the AAA rating being taken off France by Standard & Poor's, and he was very polite in responding to that Spanish journalist. So picking up on that
Maybe the baby kept him up all night. Who knows?
Who knows?
All right, now we're going to move on now, because a tape recording which has been doing the rounds today. I think it started with the Corriere della Sera in Italy.
Right.
It shows we can hear the captain of that stricken ship, the Costa Concordia, refusing to go back on board and help passengers.
We'll just take a little listen to 20 seconds of it. I'm sure you've been doing it in the bulletins as well, but let's take a listen to what actually came out between that conversation.
I'm here with the rescue teams. I'm down below. I'm not going anywhere.
Get back on board. That's an order. You have abandoned the ship. Now I give the orders.
But do you realize it's dark and we can't see anything?
What do you plan on doing? Go home?
All right, so there you go. Lots of reaction to that as well, as you can imagine, Laura. And it's in Le Point, they're saying that there's a lot of character, I suppose, close reading of the character of Francesco Schettino. How could he have done what he did, abandoned the ship after completely reckless behaviour and taking it off course? And so you've got Le Point saying that he always was a little bit reckless, speaking to people he'd worked with in the past who said they'd had to tell him to get back into line, that he was too headstrong. The other point of view coming across in Le Nouvel Observateur, where a senior member of the port of Marseille in the south of France says that he worked with him down through the years. The Costa Concordia used to dock at the port of Marseille at least once a week, always found him to be highly, highly professional. So different points of view coming across. Also in the British press, you've got Toby Young speaking about this, and he points out that really it is an ancient code of the sea to stay with your ship until the last passenger is off it if it gets into difficulty. And
so he says a British captain would have gone down with the ship.
He says that, using the example of the Titanic, he stayed on board until the very, very end, and he seems to think that if he was British, he wouldn't have abandoned ship. I think that's a bit unfair. I think you've got cowards in every country.
Absolutely. All right. Now, a bit of sibling rivalry in North Korea, isn't there?
This is an extraordinary story. It's a book that's going to come out shortly by Kim Jong-nam. Now, he was originally going to be the heir apparent, and because of a trip to Disneyland, or an attempted trip to Disneyland in Japan, that never worked out.
Oh dear.
And now he's spoken to a Japanese journalist, met him 3 times over the past 7 years, and exchanged emails with this journalist saying things like that the regime would soon fail. The Kim Jong-il was just a front man for the strong people in the background in the army, etc., that he wasn't really governing the country. He's just a nominal figure, he said. He also said that his father did not want to pass power to a third generation, but decided that the bloodline was needed to maintain the regime's stability. Massively inside information coming out in a book to be released on the 20th of January. He also apparently said that when he and his family went away to study abroad, that Kim Jong-il was actually very lonely being left behind, which means that famous clip from Team America, I'm So Lonely, and I think we have a little bit of that, it's actually true. He was lonely when his children were sent off to study overseas.
So I doubt he'll be going home anytime soon then.
Probably not.
There he is.
Probably not, yeah. He's living between Beijing and Macau, apparently. So confirming that his father was at one point actually lonely.
Imitating life, perhaps. All right, James Creedon, we've run out of time. Many thanks,
thanks
indeed for joining us. Well, now it's time for web news, and Wikipedia is going offline for the next 24 hours in protest at anti-piracy laws being debated in the United States. Take a look.